Hello dear students, how are you? Hope you are all well in this COVID pandemic by God's grace. I am LK Naik. I am going to teach you NCERT Maths of class 8 and today we will start with data handling. So before going to start, let me tell you this particular chapter is very much marks scoring. So without wasting time, let us start. So chapter number 5, data handling. So the very first thing we to know what is data. Clear students? Data is what? The information collected in the context of a situation under study is called a data. Now let us take a situation under study, that is, let us study the number of marks scored in mathematics by all students of class 8 in annual exam. Okay, now this is the context of a situation under study and we have to collect data. The information collected, what is the information we need? What is the information we need to collect? The information means the marks obtained by 50 students of class 8. This is the information we need to collect and our study is that. Clear? So in this you can see we have collected how many? We have collected some 50 marks of students of class 8. Here this you can see this data is actually called a raw data. Why raw data? Here if you are asked what is the maximum marks obtained by any students in this exam, then you can get it, but you have to search it. It will take a lot of time. Now you see here there are 50 students. If there are suppose 100 students, it will take more time. 200 students, 2000 students, okay, then it will take a lot of time and it is very time consuming and boring. So therefore this raw data is not so used to us because the data what you collected are in very haphazard manner. What you have to do? You have to arrange this data either in the increasing order or in the decreasing order. Before that arranging, now let us have some more questions on this data. If you are asked what is the minimum marks obtained by any students, okay, again one more question, say how many students got more than 75 in this exam, or how many students got less than 40 in this exam. So such type of things from this raw data to collect is very much time consuming and boring. Okay, so what is the solution? So solution is to arrange this raw data either, as I told you now, increasing order or in the decreasing order. Clear? Now you can see the data has been arranged in increasing order or in the decreasing order. It is up to your choice. There is nothing wrong if you do in the increasing order or if you do it. It is as per your wish. Because the information what you get from the increasing order, you get same information you can from the if you arrange data in the decreasing order. Okay students. Now this raw data is this one, and now you see in the increasing order. If you are asked how many students got more than 90, you can see here you are having 90, 93, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. You see there are 6 students who got above 90. Similarly, how many students got less than 40? You can see from here you can go up to 40. You see it? You see here the number of students who got less than 40. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 students who got less than 40. Similarly, many questions can be answered from here, isn't it? Minimum marks obtained 23, maximum marks obtained 97. So once the data is arranged in the increasing or in the decreasing order, means if it is organized, then you can get many meaningful interpretation from the arranged data. Clear students? Now get some other examples. Example 2, outcome of throwing a die 25 times. Now here you see this is the die. Clear? Now if you throw, you see there are faces, there are 6 faces, and on the 6 faces there are marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, isn't it? As you already you know how to play in Ludo game. So that is a die. Okay. Now if you throw it 25 times, you got, these are the outcomes of throwing a die. In this raw data, if you are told how many times you got 6, it is very difficult. It is only for 25 times. If it is supposed to be 50 times, then question will be still more difficult. So but if you arrange that same data, if you arrange the same data either in the increasing or in the decreasing order, the things becomes very easy. Now how many times, the question is now how many times you got more than 6? Now you see here you can easily say that we got how many times? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times we got more than 6, you see. And how many times you got 3? Here you got 3, you see. 3, 3, 3, 3. How many 3s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 3s you got. So this is the use of what? Raw data and the data when it is organized either in the increasing order or in the decreasing order. Let us take one more example. Example 3. Runs scored by a batsman in his last 20 ODIs. ODIs means one day internationals. In these 20 ODIs, you see these are the runs scored by any batsman. Now, if it is asked, if you are asked that how many the batsman, how many runs he scored above half century, means above 50, then from here you have to count. Now the 20 ODIs, if it is suppose 50 ODIs or if it is 100 ODIs, and if the question is how many times he got more than 50, okay, or how many times he hit a century. So such type of questions, if it is in the form of raw, if the data is in the form of raw, then it is very difficult to answer. But in the same question, if you arrange the data, either in the increasing or in the decreasing order, you see data arranged in increasing order, let us say 0 to 105. From here you can say that here in the last 20 ODIs he has hit 1 century, 105. And if you are asked that how many he got above 50, then you see from here you can say that 54, 57, you see from here 54, 57, 59, isn't it? So how many times he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. So he scored a half century 10 times in the last 20 ODIs. So dear students, the bottom line is that you should bear in mind that raw data is not so much of useful to us, but if the data is arranged either in the increasing or the decreasing order, I mean to say if it is organized, then you can get many meaningful interpretations from that. Clear students? Now with this, now let us go to another topic. Let us take some more examples. It is for additional information. Now in the context of situation, you see number of persons killed in snake bite every month for the past 5 years. For the past 5 years means in each year there are 12 months, and in every month, so in the past 5 years there will be 60 months, and in every month you have to collect how many persons killed in a snake bite. Okay, this is also a type of data handling. Now number of vehicles that passed over Howrah Bridge every day in the year 2019. You can think phone calls your parents received every day in the last 1 month. Clear? Baby borns every month in India in the year 2020. Okay. Similarly, you can also record the maximum temperature for the last 1 month or 1 year. Okay. All such type of questions are dealt in data handling. Now let us go to some other topic. Okay. How to represent data graphically. You see there are some 5 ways. So you have already studied in earlier classes about pictograph, bar graph and double bar graph. In this chapter, means in class 8, you are going to do details about histogram, circle graph and pie chart. All these things are very easy and quite interesting. Let us now jump to pictograph. Now what is a pictograph? To understand a pictograph, you see, what is a pictograph? Pictorial representation of data using symbols. Symbols means what? You see, in this example, a manufacturer is producing some or manufacturing some cars. In the month of July, he has produced how many cars? How to count this one? This one symbol represents 100 cars. This is not one car, though in the figure the symbol shows one car, but this one car represents 100 cars. So in the July, 100, 100, and this is what half of the car means, it is 50. So in the month of July, he has produced, the company has produced 250 cars. In August, 300 cars. Clear students? So the question here is, how many cars are produced in the month of July? You see, it is 100, 100 and 50, 250. And in which month were maximum number of cars produced? You see, in which month? In the month of September, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 400 cars. So what will you answer? The answer is very simple. So the first answer is 250 cars, as I have already told you. And the second, in the month of September, we have produced maximum number of cars. Clear? Now let us go to bar graph. You see a bar graph. You see these are bars. These blue rectangles, what you see, these are called bars. Bar graph, what is a bar graph? A display of information using bars of uniform width, their heights being proportional to the respective values. You see, dear students, in this bar graph, these bars, what you have to remember is that these bars are of uniform width, means this width, whatever this is the width, you can see this is the width. Okay, this width or you can say this width must be same in all the cases. One should not be thin and another should not be thick. And not only that, you should also, this distance, if you see this, the gap between these two, you see there is a gap, this gap should also be same. Okay, this gap should also be same. Here this gap, this gap, this gap, these gaps should also be same. That is what bars are of equal width and with equal gaps in between. This is the very much requirement of a bar graph. While making bar graph, you should keep these things in mind. And what is this height? Height means this is the height. Okay, this is the height of a bar. So this height shows what? This height shows what? The value. This is now see 100. You are showing it 100, and you will see it is 250. You are showing it is 250. So this height, the height shows the value. Clear? The information. So now what is the question? What is the information given by the bar graph? What is the information you get? It is very easy. This what you see, this is called the, this one is called the horizontal axis, and this one is called the vertical axis. Clear students? This one called the vertical axis. This horizontal axis is showing academic years 2003, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, and this vertical axis is showing the number of students in class 8. Clear? So what does this show? This bar graph shows or gives the number of students in class 8 in various academic years. Okay, in various academic years. In 2003 there were 100 students, in 2004 there are 200 students, in 2005 there are 250 students, in 2006 there are 300 students, like this. Okay, then in which year is the increase in the number of students maximum? You can see in which year. Here the increase is 100, because 200 minus 100 is 100, 250 minus 200 is, it is 50, from 300 minus 250 it is also 50, 350 minus 300 is also 50. So maximum is here 2004, because in 2003 there are 100 students and in 2004 there are 200 students. Okay students, so here the answer will be what? The answer will be 2004, because here is there is a jump. You can see from the graph also, isn't it? Now next question, in which year is the number of students maximum? Very simple. In the year 2007 there are 350 students, so it is the maximum. And state whether true or false. The number of students during 2005-6 is twice that of 2003-4. In 2005-6, okay, we are having 250 students, and in 2003-4 we are having 100 students. So 250 divided by 100, you will get how much? You will get only 2.5. So it is not twice, it is 2.5 times. So the statement is false. Okay students, the statement is false. So here is the answer. So you see the first one, what is the information given by the bar graph? It gives the information about the number of students in class 8 you get from here in different academic years. Okay. Now next is, in which year is the increase in the number of students maximum? In 2004 and 5 the increase is maximum from 100 to 200. Then in 2007 and 8, question number 3 is what? In which year is the number of students maximum? The number of students maximum is in the year 2007 and 2008, where it is 350, isn't it? It is 350. Now the number of students during 2005 is twice that of 2003, 2004. You see, it is false, since it is 2 point. I told you this is 100 and this is 250. It is 2.5 times. Okay students, I think it's clear. Now let us go to double bar graph. A bar graph was showing two sets of data simultaneously. It is useful for the comparison of the data. Okay. Now see, there are two sets of data. How two sets of data? You see, there are two bars. So the name suggests double bar graph. There are two bars you see, isn't it? One is the sky blue and another is deep blue. Now what does this indicate? You see, a bar graph showing two sets of data simultaneously. How they are showing simultaneously? Now in this case, what this data says, this graph, it is the marks obtained by a student in various subjects. You see, marks obtained by a student in various subjects for 2 years, isn't it? This sky blue rectangles or bars are for the year 2005, whereas these deep blue rectangles are for the year 2006. So in a double bar graph, we can show two information simultaneously, two sets of data simultaneously. Okay, it is useful for comparison, but how do we compare the data? It is very easy. Now you see, if you see here in maths, in year 2005 he got only 30, but in 2006 he got 60. There is a improvement, lot of improvement. In social science there is an improvement, in science there is an improvement, but in English there is deterioration, isn't it? There is a deterioration, you see, there is the comparison. In Hindi, no, it is neither deterioration nor improvement, it is at par. Now you see the question, what is the information given by the double bar graph? The bar graph gives the information about marks obtained by a student in various subjects for 2 academic years, 2005 and 2006. Okay, students, and which subject has the performance improved the most? You see, it is in maths. The performance is maximum, the most improvement. Now, in which subject has the performance deteriorated? Yes, in English it is deteriorated. From the graph it is very clear. And in which subject is the performance at par? In Hindi it is at par. Neither it is improvement nor there is any deterioration. So here is the answer. Clear, student? Have a look. Now let us go to another one. Draw an appropriate graph to represent the given information. This is the given information and you have to represent it by a graph. As I have told you, there are various graphs, and which graph is suitable, that depends upon the type of question. Here you see, here we can make either a pictograph or you can make a bar graph. So if it is a pictograph, this then see how it looks like. Now this is the pictograph. This is the symbol. Each watch shows 500 watches, isn't it? So now it is how much? 1,000. So in July there will be 2 watches, isn't it? So now in the month of September, how many were? Again it is 1500. So again you see there are again 3 watches. Again in the month of October you are having how many? 2000. So each watch is at 500. So therefore there will be 4 watches, isn't it? 500, 500, 500, 500, 2000. So I hope you have understood. Clear? In November it is a 2500. Okay. So if you divide 2500 by 500, you will get 5 watches. You see there are 5 watches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clear? There are 3, 4, 5. This particular question can also be shown by the help of what? By the help of bar graphs. Let us see how it can be shown. Here 500, 1 centimeter shows 250 watches. So 500, 1000, 1500, 2000. These are the number of watches sold. And in the month of July you see it is 1000 and it is 1000 here. 100. Now in the month of September it is 1500. Again it is, you see again it is 1500. Clear? In the October it is 2000, so it is a 2000. So this particular question can also be shown by the help of a bar graph, and also it can be shown, as I've shown earlier, by the help of a pictograph. Okay, students, I think it is interesting. Now let us do another question. Draw an appropriate graph to represent the given information. Children who prefer walking in school A, school B, school C. There are 3 schools, and now you see children who prefer walking in school A is 40, in school B is 55, in school C is 15. The data is right in front of you. Now see, you have to show 2 informations, isn't it? You have to show 2 informations. So how will you show? Now see how it is shown by a double bar graph. Children who prefer, that is the number of children. Okay, these are the number of children who prefer walking in school A. So these are the number of children shown in the vertical axis. And so here you can see children who prefer walking in school A is 40, in school B is 55, in school C is 15. Now see the double bar graph. This brown one shows walking and the blue one shows cycling. What is that schools? In school A, walking is 40. In school A, you see walking is 40, isn't it? And in school B, walking is 55. You see, from here if you draw a line, you see it is 55. You see, it is 55. And in school C, it is 15. In school C, it is only 15. You see, it is only 15. It is only 15. Clear, students? Similarly, cycling. In school A, cycling is 45. In school A, cycling is blue rectangle. Now you see it is 45. Clear? It is 45. It is why. Clear? So here we are representing this particular question by a double bar graph. Why double bar graph? Because there are two sets of data. Children, number of children is vertical axis. This is the vertical axis, and school A, school B, we are showing different schools in the horizontal axis, isn't it? And these two data are shown by two different bars. So it is a double bar graph. Clear, students? Okay. Now let us go to the last question. Draw an appropriate graph representing the given information. Percentage wins in ODI by 8 top cricket teams. So here what they are showing? In this they are showing 70% means what? If South Africa has played 100 matches, then they have won 75 times in Champions Trophy. Okay. Now in one day international, if they have played 100 times, then they have won 78 times. Okay. Like this way for the remaining team. Now how to represent this graph? Again you see there are two sets of data. Again you will represent by double bar graph. From Champions Trophy, there are two things. From Champions Trophy to World Cup 2006, you are having the red rectangles, and the last 10 ODIs in 2007, they are showing with the blue rectangles. There are two sets of data. Now here it is very easy. Percentage win in ODIs, these are the percentage win. 70%, 78%, 61%, 40%. Okay, they are the percentage win, and the teams we are showing it here: South Africa, Australia, Sri Lanka, New Zealand. Okay. So this graph, what it shows? It shows the percentage wins in ODI of various teams in the Champions Trophy and in last 10 ODIs. From here you can say that South Africa 70%. You see there is 70% here. From here you can see that there are. You see here you are having 70%. Here you are having 78%. In Australia 61%. You see it is 60. You see from here you are getting 61%, and it is 40% in ODI. It is, you see, it is 40%. Likewise we are making it from this figure, you can make it. So this is again a double bar graph, dear students. Okay, so here this is percentage. How we are not showing a percentage symbol here, but you see 1 centimeter, the scale we have 1 centimeter is 5%. This is the 1 centimeter. This is 1 centimeter. This is showing 5%. 10%, 15%, 20%, this is showing the percentage wins in ODI. So dear students, I think you have understood it very well. This is very easy chapter, just to think a bit. It is not too difficult as compared to other chapters. So I will just summarize. So in this class, what we have studied? We have studied what is raw data, but what is definite data, then what is raw data, isn't it? And what is the benefit and advantage, what is the disadvantage of raw data? And once you arrange the data in the increasing order, decreasing order, what is the benefit we got? Clear? That is organized data. Then next we studied how to represent data graphically. There are various methods, and we have studied today what? A pictograph, bar graph, and a double bar graph. Okay. And in the next class we will study about organizing data. Okay, and dear students, this is all for today. If you have any doubts, please comment. I will try to answer all those in a more elaborate manner. I will see you in the next class, and if you have liked the video, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Okay students.